What's up, YouTube? Eugene here. Hope you're all well. Hope life is treating you grand. Let us know in the comments. I want to talk about the new Frederic Malle release, Uncut Gem, that's just made its way here in Canada. And I've been able to spend a little bit of time with it. And I am a big Frederic Malle fanboy. Massive. Big is an understatement. Really get excited for every new Frederic Malle release and feel very privileged and able to smell one. So I get just as excited for Frederic Malle as I do for Guerlain or Chanel or Hermès or Dior or any of my favorite French houses. So it's always an exciting time, and it's a very busy time for me, anticipating what Frederic is going to say to us in terms of perfume. You know, from the moment the announcement is made that a new fragrance is coming out to the time I get to smell it, I spend way too much time trying to decipher, based upon the information provided to us by the brand, the note breakdown, the pyramid, the marketing brief, or any kind of information that I can collect into an actual smell. So I try and create what this perfume is going to smell like based off of the information provided. And up until now, Frederic Malle's been quite brilliant at deceiving my nose and my idea of what his perfumes are going to smell like. Rose and Queer comes to mind. I was not expecting that whatsoever. I thought it was kind of a visionary perfume where they created a rose accord from no rose. It was geranium and IBQ, which I thought was really interesting and very intelligent. It was a very intelligent perfume, and it had me fooled. And looking at Uncut Gem, I think this is the very first time that a Frederic Malle perfume felt predictable to me, based off of all the information that I can gather off of Frederic Malle's website, Instagram, based off of the things that I've heard from other people. I feel like for a Frederic Malle fragrance, it lacks creativity. It lacks a vision. I feel like a consumer of Frederic Malle's perfumes, big lover, I feel very discriminated from this release. I feel like it's not meant for someone like me that loves more the creative aspects of fragrance, uniqueness and individuality. This feels like, although it doesn't feel mass appealing, it doesn't feel mass niche either. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel very creative. It feels like something that was just like put together without much reference to beauty or importance to, what the consumer of a Frederic Malle perfume consumer expects from the brand. So this is it is a very modern perfume. It does fit with modern tradition. It is marketed towards men in this really fucked up time where nobody knows what it means to be a man or a woman. Science doesn't want to define man or woman. Our teachers and educators and lawmakers and politicians and doctors don't want to touch the subject. So it's really fascinating that perfume is still a marketing perfume to gender, even though I'm pretty sure Frederic Malle has said many times that fragrance has no gender, but he himself is marketing to specific genders. And when I take this and compare it to, some of my favorite pillars of masculinity, of masculine fragrance, like Kouros or Antaeus or Pour Monsieur, Héritage, Eau Sauvage, Habit Rouge, right? It hardly fits the bill or compares, but I think it's also kind of unfair to measure it up to some of those iconic pillars. And Even looking at some of the Frederic Malle masculines within the lineup, I feel like it lacks, comparing it to, some of the greats, such as Bigera Concentré, Geranium pour Monsieur, Vetiver Extraordinaire, anything from the Desert Gems, which all feel rather masculine to me. Bois d'Orage and Monsieur. I'm sure there's a few others, but it doesn't feel like it portrays masculinity quite as well as some of these. And the reason for that is because it feels just way too juvenile for me. It feels like a man with his hands inside of his pockets with nothing to say or nothing interesting, nothing important, and letting the truth of perfume blow right by. The reason it feels such a way is it feels very incomplete to me. It feels, I want to say almost rushed, but I don't know how much time it took them, and it's unfair to say that. But it feels unfinished, almost the way a Le Labo perfume feels unfinished. And I know Le Labo has this very industrial finish to them, and I don't mean industrial, but it feels unfinished in a way where there are gaps in this perfume that would be needed to create depth and interest, and that's where it's lacking. It's lacking complexity. It's a very linear perfume with gaps in it, so it's a very sharp fragrance. Masculine, yeah, I would say it's masculine. It leans traditionally masculine, but it's not a great masculine by any means, just because there's some vetiver and amber inside of the perfume. Even the vetiver doesn't feel earthy. There's nothing earthy about this perfume. There's no warmth. It lacks warmth and interest, and it lacks contrast, and that's a major problem for me. Everything kind of feels like it is swinging the same way without anything coming back the other way to create that contrast. So it's a very sharp perfume. All the materials used in here have sharp facets to them, such as the tangy grapefruit, very sharp, the nutmeg, sharp, the ginger, sharp without being spicy, vetiver, sharp without being earthy. The amber, you would hope there would be some warmth coming from the amber, but this is not a traditional amber oriental that's blended with vanillas and tonkas and benzoins and other sweet resins. This is an amber wood, sort of the screechy, spiky kind that is cold and sterile, and has this really uninteresting buzz that runs throughout the life of the fragrance. So it is a cold perfume for me. It lacks warmth, it lacks contrast, it lacks depth and complexity, and the kind of the layers that I like deeper perfumes, and this feels more easy. I wouldn't exactly call this mainstream. I don't find it mainstream, but it's not mass appealing. It's too weird to be mass appealing, but it's not interesting in the least. Like it's not mass appealing, but it's not mass niche either. It's just so simple. It feels simple. It doesn't feel like a blue fragrance to me. It does, I get yellow and slightly green tones to it. Like it says the name Uncut. It's got this sort of crystallish yellow tinge to the opening, this reflection of light that when it comes out the other side has a yellow glow to it. And just a bunch of sharp materials that don't really play well with each other. They don't create any sort of balance. It feels very unbalanced to me, and that's where it loses me. It loses my interest. It feels like it has nothing interesting to say, and it's not something that I, as a man, want to wear that represents masculinity. And I think that is a big problem with perfumes. In recent years, they have lost their masculine edge and they've all gone rather soft. Just look at what Hermes has done with H24 over the past year, and even what Chanel has done, going from masculine perfumes with Antaeus and Egoiste to more mundane allures and bleus. So masculinity is definitely losing its edge and definition. Men are, or it seems like men are supposed to become softer or weaker and not as strong and bold as things from yesteryear. So I don't think it's a political movement. It's just kind of what has formed naturally. This is all kind of a natural evolution, I imagine, which is strange. But anyway, it's not for me. I don't find this exciting. I find it kind of irrelevant in my collection. I don't think this is going to, no, I don't think. I know this is not a perfume that is going to improve my collection for, 555 Canadian dollars plus the 13% tax comes over $620 in this country, which, I need my perfumes to speak to me way more than what Uncut Gem has to say, which is probably a better fragrance for a younger man, somebody that's just getting into niche. But as far as depth and complexity and uniqueness and interest and that sort of thing, it just doesn't. It doesn't turn my hamster cage, right? It doesn't keep me interested, and I find myself checking out from this fragrance. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Still a massive fan of Frederic Malle. I don't think this is the end of Frederic Malle. I think it's just kind of him exploring different avenues, and I'll always have an appreciation for Frederic Malle and his philosophy on perfume and the whatever he represents. But one miss is not the end of a brand. I will definitely be able to forgive this. It's just not for me, and I move on from it. But anyway, if you're familiar with Uncut Gem, let me know, or let us know what you think. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you... I don't hate it by any means. I don't think it's horrible, but just for the price, I don't think I am getting my money's worth, and I just, I wanted more. I'd be very happy to pay the asking price if it fulfilled my needs as a perfume enthusiast. If it were deliver something more interesting, something outspoken. Not every perfume needs to be a masterpiece. I get that, and I'm okay with things that aren't. I wear a lot of things that I don't think are great, and I love a lot of things that I don't think are great perfumes, but I don't think this is something that connects with me. That's simply what it is. But yeah, let us know what you think. Does Uncut Gem connect with you? It's always good seeing your faces and your comments. And thanks for watching. We will see you all again shortly.